Okay, we are live here on Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans and supporters of veterans.
Yep.
Yep. I don't even know how many we have in our leagues.
I don't either, which is kind of weird. And
I know,
speaking of,
find out. Okay, if you're a veteran,
yes.
let us know.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can celebrate you anyway.
We probably need to meet some of these new people too, eventually.
Yeah, I need to get another round of meet your league mates.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. So, and then we have to have the no talent show for anybody who wants to get involved. But anyways,
that'll be nice.
So here we are, week 10. Week 10 is finishing up with one game left. I'm excited that we're able to do this podcast a little bit early today so that I can watch the Rams play the Dolphins at SoFi. That's kind of fun. Thank you for accommodating me, Adrian.
Absolutely.
And I believe that Jason is doing another trip. He's in Mexico, I guess. I don't know if it's business or pleasure related. If we're all going to guess, we're going to say pleasure.
Pretty sure pleasure. Yeah, I would imagine.
Sure. Yeah, so he is doing his thing down there. So you and I are holding down the fort today.
You think he's got a timeshare out there?
No, I think he travels the world, and I just don't know how he's able to do that. That's amazing.
Yeah. He's blessed for sure.
Jelly.
That's good. Right?
Absolutely. But you know what he would be jealous of right now is that my shirt matches my decor. That just doesn't get better than that.
Right. That is pretty awesome.
I know. I was like, oh, what's that? I guess I have
that was
a color scheme.
That was not planned at all?
No.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of fun. I'll have to wear it sometime when I'm doing therapy and point it out to my clients. Anyway.
That may distract them.
Absolutely. That's what therapy is about, is what I'm wearing.
All right.
Okay. So what we decided we're going to do is a little bit of just kind of reviewing each of the leagues a little bit to look at trades, of course, because that's the fun part. And then also what the playoff picture is looking like as of this point. So in week 10, so by the end of today, we should have another one of the wins logged. We'll have 2 more weeks of competition and our DH. So there'll be 3 additional wins possible at the end of today. And then the playoffs start week 13. And then week 14, there are no playoffs. Everybody is on bye week 14th, and then it resumes on 15 because of the bye apocalypse. And so I guess I think Zach was amending the bylaws to reflect on weird years that would be decided before the first games even goes off as to when the schedules come out, what that would look like.
Yeah, I'll be left complaining for sure, I think.
Well, yeah, it would be no good to work so hard all year and then half your team is off.
Right.
So let's get started. Which league should we start with?
So we'll go with the first one was NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's go ahead and start there.
Do I share my screen?
Sure.
All right, let me find it here. So NFL.
So we're going to do things a little different this time just because, normally have Jason here to handle a couple other leagues. So, and we're kind of in a weird transition point, I think, because we have just a few weeks left. So we're just going to look at the divisions and kind of give our guess as to who we think might make the playoffs or could make the playoffs, who might be locked in, and we'll see how that ends up.
Oh, I was looking for share screen and it's present. All right, here it is. Okay. Oh, Sharing tab.
What's going on with my camera? But it's
All right. So we have the main roster screen shared. What screen would you like to go to?
let's do the trades first. Let's see what's.
All righty. Trades. Nope. Transactions. Trades for 7 days this time. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
All right. We only got a few. Can you see those?
And so we have switch my screen real quick.
I can make that a little bigger, maybe.
I was just going to the league so we can see who's who.
Okay. Oh, that's a good idea.
Because I know it doesn't show. I don't think on that. So NFL, we have Wes. We haven't said his name in a while, huh? Wes.
No.
And so he gave. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're San Francisco. So he traded you Brandon Ayuk for J.K. Dobbins and Jordan Addison. So I guess he's competing. He's 5-7 and second in the division. So I would say that's a competing move. Right?
Yeah. And I'm just sucking really bad. And so if there's anything of worth on my team, you can come and get it.
Right. Yeah. Sitting at 111, I think you're like my GA team is not doing well, but it's fun to build. And this is the first time I've actually kind of, instead of retooling, kind of sold off and kind of considered a rebuild, and it's actually fun. So I've actually got some good players. Yeah. I got some good injured players this year, and hopefully they'll be back strong.
The ambulance and go for it.
Exactly. And then we had let's see, Carolina. We had Roy giving up Cooper Rush to Mike Ramos for Israel Abanikanda and Ali Rasheen. So I guess just some taxi spots. It looks like Roy might just be building up his taxi. So I imagine those two are on taxi.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. And then Mike Ramos had so he's got CJ Stroud. So I guess Stroud's on a bye week 14. He's been a disappointment so far this year, but he will be on bye week 14. So, but week 14 is a bipocalypse, right? So you really don't even need him. That's good. I'm because I really didn't remember that. So I'm wondering how many other league mates didn't remember that either.
That's a good point. I should tell Zach to put out an announcement to everybody.
Yeah, because that looked like a bye week move to fill in for, because his other quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, which I'm not sure why he still has him on his roster, but who knows? He can make it back at some point.
He definitely, if Stafford gets hurt.
Yeah. Which is possible.
You want me to go?
Yeah, let's go to standings.
All right.
I'll kind of pull up my game day so we can see who's doing what.
All righty.
Let me make that bigger. So we have, of course, AFC North. We have Ash, right? Ash. No, that's Mitch Allen. Mitch. That's Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
AFC North. Cleveland Browns. He took over for Jason Kay's team.
Yes.
So he's 12-0. Pretty sure he's got that division locked up.
I would say that's a clinch at this point.
Yeah, because there's 5 games different. So he pretty much even if he loses out, I think he's still
Yeah,
still
there's
wins that division.
four more total.
Yeah, and he's probably going to win tonight too because he is only down by 9 points, and he has Kyron and Jalen Waddle going tonight. So I think he'll be in first.
Yeah, I
pretty
agree.
pretty easy. So that's for the division winner. AFC South is a little bit tighter. So we have the Titans at 7-5. He actually played the Texans, Jim Leahy and the Texans, and that is the Titans is Rizzo. So he pretty much has a win. Check the scores. I think he's got a win already. He beat the Texans 64-41. How about that for a win, right? Scoring 64 points and winning. I'll take that.
Bad.
Yeah. And then we have Troy and the Colts. They played me this week, and I needed to win out really because in order to have a shot. He beat me this week 86-81. So he's gonna get a win. They'll be 8-5. Pretty much gonna shoot my chances unless I win my doubleheader. So we'll see. But I would have to win out, and they would have to lose out. So probably not good for me. But looks like it'll be between Rizzo and Troy, whoever takes that division. AFC East, we have Braxton at 9-3, followed up by Jeremy at 8-4, and then we have the Bills and Jason, right? JW at 8-4 as well. Is that 8-4? Yeah.
Yes.
And Brian at 7-5, or Carmen. Sorry, I get Carmen and Ryan confused because I know Carmen has a majority of the Miami teams, right?
Right.
Except for one. So he's at 7-5. So really, it's still open. Carmen is probably going to win this week against Braxton. So he's at 108 points. Braxton's at 59 points with only Achan going. So Achan's not going to score 50 points.
So every
Carmen's
one of
going to win.
Still in the running for wild card.
Yeah, it looks like JW will probably win. He's at 92 points. Jeremy's at 65 points with Cooper Kupp. So Cooper Kupp would have to have a great game and score 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible if he scores 30 points. But so it looks like it's still going to be real close because there's going to be a two-way tie for first, at least in that division.
Mm-hmm.
And then AFC West, the best of the worst, I would say, with those teams. We have Cole at 5-7, and then we have the Broncos. Cole actually he won this week. Oh my goodness, he beat Joe 87-25. Joe scored 25 points. Yes.
Oh
Come on,
my.
Joe. And then we have Denver, and these are all division weeks too, which makes it more exciting because you're playing within your division.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps to get that win. So we have John Lake playing Zach. Zach will probably win this week. He's up 90-57. Zach has Mostert going, and John has Tua going, which I don't think he can make up that difference. So it looks like it's going to be Troy at the top, or Cole, I'm sorry. Cole at the top, and then it will be Zach right underneath him, one game back, and then Jim and John. John will be 2 games back out of first place. But just remember, there's wild cards. So I don't think the wild card's coming from the AFC West by any means. It'll probably definitely come from the AFC East for sure.
Yes.
And then possibly one from the south, or north.
Or they might both be from the east,
That's true.
which would
That is
be
definitely
interesting.
true. Yeah. Did you want to look at the NFC?
Sure.
You're probably more familiar with NFC than I am in NFL.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check out the names and make sure. I think it's Dave is Packers. Got 10-2. Can you check the names for me?
Yeah. It is Dave Reed. Yep.
Yeah, 10-2. So he looks like. Let's see. I don't know if he's winning or not.
He pretty much won. So he's up 63-49, and he still has 2 players going.
All right.
So
he's not a lock yet, but as soon as if the Bears lose one, then it'll be a lock.
Yeah, and Brandon is the Bears, and he also won.
Okay, so it's still going, and it's still possible, but it's doubting it at this point, but you never know. All right, and then in the South, we have Tampa Bay.
Which is, come on, Casey.
Casey, okay. 9-3. And then right behind them is the Saints, which is Mike, I think.
Mike Ramos, yeah.
Yeah. And so they're still neck and neck.
They both won. Yeah,
and
they both won.
All right.
So it doesn't help out any.
No, not yet, but it doesn't hurt either. So they'll
be playing each other next week, it looks like.
Well, that'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Most likely. All right. And then we have the Eagles, which used to be Justin.
And is now Brian C.
Welcome to the NFC, NFL. And he's winning right now with 6-6 against Wes and the Giants. So they're still both competing.
Yeah, and they actually played each other this week.
Yeah.
And Brian lost.
Okay. So it looks like it's tied right now. So it's whoever wins out takes the lead on, or will take the division. And it looks like they will both have 5 wins in the division, but Giants will probably have the tiebreaker. I'd have to look back to see in the past on that one, but yeah, we're not quite there yet. So, and then in the NFC West, we have Ash winning 10-2, and Tony, I think, is the Rams.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's in second place with 8-4. So it's not done yet, but getting close.
Guess who Ash played this week?
Me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
So I think he has a win.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal there. And so
Tony,
go ahead.
Tony won as well.
Sweet. So it's looking like most likely the wild card will come out of the NFC West. Most likely it'll be probably Tony. And then also it could either be Mike Ramos or the Bears.
Brandon.
The Bears. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see as we get down to the end. So the wild card still isn't locked yet, but it looks like it'll be pretty interesting. And then it will be really interesting to see who do we think wins, the AFC or the NFC in the finals. And so it'll most likely be down to, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because Ash has scored a lot of points, but we've seen teams that score a lot of points get knocked out of the first round of the playoffs too.
Absolutely. You never know.
It's luck. Yeah, you never know.
Excuse me. All right.
So that's that. Let's go on to the next one. 32. Yeah. So while you're doing that, do you think? Have you heard anything about Tyreek Hill tonight?
No, I have not.
He's going to play.
No. What's the word?
I don't know. It's supposed to be a game time decision, and I know
What's
there's
his injury?
a wrist.
Is it now?
Yeah. So I know there's some teams that are hoping that he plays, but we'll see.
Oh, absolutely. All righty.
Well, we have a lot of trades.
We do.
You want to talk about these?
Sure. So we have the old New England Snow Dogs, which is
Tim
against Ash here. And so Ash gave Tyler Boyd and Joe Flacco for a second round pick. So I'm guessing that's needed a starter.
Yes.
That's fair enough. Flacco's worth at least a little bit less than a second.
What do you think he's worth? Because we have this same. Ash needs a quarterback in SF2, and I have Flacco, and was asking for a second, and he said, "I'm not paying a second."
Well,
you need a quarterback. He's because he had Dak and no third quarterback.
Well, he was worth more a couple weeks ago, back when we thought he was going to be fantastic, and I got more for him. But at this point, now that he's kind of sucking, and we don't even know if he's going to start week to week anymore,
Yeah,
it's hard to tell. But I think it's worth at least a second for a starting quarterback.
that was my thought, especially in Superflex. But we know how easy it is to deal with Ash, right?
It all depends on what he needs. All right, and then we have the Bears and Motor City.
So that's me and Jason K.
All right, why don't you talk about that one?
So Jason K this is kind of a very competitive division. So we're all kind of trying to win. I think Jason may be giving up a little bit and kind of playing to next year because I think he's last in the division. Just so real close. So he was asking for Olave, and he just kind of threw something at me, and I said, I'll take it. So I gave up ETN and Olave and Noah Fant for Audric Estime, who actually looked good this week.
He did.
And I think he got most carries, didn't he?
63%.
Yeah, because I saw I have Williams in another league, and I saw he only had one carry.
Yeah.
And that was scary.
One. I know. I've got him in a couple leagues.
Yeah. And then Tyreek Hill I got, and Jawan Johnson, who I think I dropped already.
That's a great trade.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Tyreek Hill plays tonight because I definitely need him to play. If he doesn't play, then I probably will lose. So
Tyreek Hill is active for Monday Night Football.
Is he? You got that?
Yep, it just came across.
Nice.
Look at that. Breaking news.
So nice.
You heard it here. Sweet.
Very nice. I'm happy.
And then this next trade was my favorite trade of the week. That came right out of the blue. Rizzo decided he was making a move, and he made it. And he sent me a offer for Amari Cooper, Cedric Tillman, and a 26 first for Puka. Oh, and Rashee Rice. Nice. And Rashee Rice, yeah.
Yeah, can't forget about him because that's
right. The best part of the trade. So so I accepted it because I'm not competing this year, and I may not compete next year, depending. So to me, it felt like a good rebuilding team. I think Cedric Tillman's going to end up being a little something. And then, well, we all know Rashee Rice's potential. And so I accepted that one. It was always hard to see Puka go, but
yeah, but I don't blame you. You got a pretty good haul for him.
Yeah.
And then, I know Rizzo is competing, so he's wanting to win. So
and he wasn't done. So he sent Mike Evans and a first for Tyreek.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and so he got Tyreek, and he's excited to hear that it's starting tonight too. So he's on a roll. So I'm pretty impressed with Rizzo making the moves.
That's a nice 1-2 punch. Tyreek Hill and Puka.
Yeah, for
That's
reals.
nice.
I mean,
Good job, Rizzo.
His team's going to
Yeah.
look good. Then we had myself and Ash for
boy.
Tyron. We have Brian Robinson, Chris Olave, and Theo Johnson. And so since I'm rebuilding, I wanted to sell my running backs because they're time limited. And so I wanted to build the wide receivers and we'll see. Hopefully Olave doesn't retire. That would be
Right.
awful.
So
go
how
ahead.
much did that hurt giving up 2 Rams?
Yep, it was awful. But you got to do what you got to do. I've been stuck in the middle in this league for a couple of years. I'm going to just always be in the middle. And it's like, so I needed to do something. So I decided just to sell and see what rebuilds.
And Brian Robinson looks good when he's healthy. When he's not bothered by a hamstring.
Right. I think it's a toe.
I think it's a hammy.
Is it?
At least what my reports show.
Those hamstrings
I could be wrong.
are killer.
Yeah.
And then we have
and one more thing. Theo Johnson, that's a good get too.
Yeah,
especially in 32 tight end premium.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost got the lion's share of the snaps, and he's young and he looks good.
And my tight end.
I think it's a good deal.
So I thought it worked out nice. And then we have Cooper Kupp for Keenan Allen in a first.
And that was Tom, who's in the first place in the division and playing me this week. And guess who he has going tonight?
What's that?
Cooper Kupp. And we're, I think, 8 points apart.
Oh,
he's got Cooper Kupp. I have Tyreek Hill. So we'll see. So Dallas Off the Dark is Daniel, which is Kyle's cousin or brother-in-law, something like that. He's related to Kyle, but he took over this team.
Well, I love the little blinky eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one is Etienne and Tank Dell for Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, so Carolina Castaways is Chad, who's a friend of Bill's, who's pretty vacant, just like Bill. I mean, but he actually made a trade. I'm kind of surprised.
Good.
Because you don't see him that often. So I'm glad he's making a trade, and I'm sure Jason K probably DM'd him to death for it. But yeah, not a bad trade.
Got another breaking news thing. It said Tyreek Hill has a torn ligament in his wrist, but he's going to play anyway.
Oh my goodness, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't.
Give him a shot and tape it up. That's what I say. Get some duct tape. It'll be all right.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awful. Okay, let's switch on over to the standings. Oops.
Yes. So what we'll do on this, because you are AFC and I'm NFC. We'll have you take the AFC and I'll take NFC in this one.
I love it. That sounds good to me. All right. So AFC. Let's see here. We're starting out. I think Braxton is Baltimore.
Yep.
And he's 10-2. He has definitely clinched this division. And the rest of the people are all just looking and wishing.
Right.
But there doesn't seem to be a lot of trading happening other than the Capitalists did trade this week. Who's got that one? That used to be James.
That Nate Leahy.
Oh, Nick, yeah. Okay, so he just made a trade, but we got to get the other folks moving on that one.
Which is weird. Cole is the Cincinnati Gunslingers. He usually makes trades. But,
Usually, yeah.
and Jake tries to make trades. But
Well, yeah, I guess you got to have some assets. So the AFC South is a fun division to be in. I'm in that one. Right now it is Tennessee seems to be running away with it. Tennessee is Tim, I want to say.
Troy.
Sorry, all you T guys. I know,
I get to
look it up. So Troy's taking a lead on this one. And then Jason W is Colt 45. And I think
they played each other.
Yeah, they played this weekend. And I want to say the Tennessee
Troy won, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the division is even split further. And then I suck. So I'm now selling off all my assets. And Bill is beating me this week. So Bill is Indianapolis.
He is. Mm-hmm. Goodness.
So we'll see what happens there. And then in the East, we have Pickle is in first place. Tied for first with the Snow Dogs. Which is Tim. And they're battling right now.
Yeah, so Mitch actually won this week against the White Buffalo, which is now Brian C.
Yeah.
And Tim has Mostert and Cooper Kupp, and he is 18 points down. So against Miami Vice and Miami, it was Carmen. He's at 57 points and doesn't have anybody left. So he's got a shot to win and to make it even more confusing because they'll be both 8 and 5.
Yep. So that should sort out. So Pickle will be the lone leader of the division, but there's still some room for things to happen over the next couple weeks. We'll have to see. And then in the AFC West, we've got Grumpy Raider in first place there. Rizzo is 10 and 2. And Ash is right behind at 8 and 4. I know that Ash is waiting for Kyron to play tonight. I think there's a whole bunch of players for this evening.
Yes.
Sides.
So to give you an update on their scores right now, they are playing each other, by the way. So Ash has 98 points, and he's got Kyron Williams going. Rizzo has 66 points, so he's 32 points down, but he has Tyreek and Puka. So
it could go either way.
It could, yeah. Depends on if Kyron doesn't have a good game and Puka and Tyreek do, then he's got it. But if Kyron has a great game, it's going to be hard, I think, making up that 32 points in addition.
So both of them are playing with my players that I had last week. So I'm partially enjoying this week, just vicariously through them.
Yeah.
And then Zach is out of it for this year, which I'm sure is killing him because this is I think his favorite league.
Is it?
I think so.
Is this the one he's rebuilding on or no?
I don't know.
Or supposedly?
I don't know.
He's got Patrick Mahomes. He's got ETN, Kareem Hunt.
Oh, this is the one where he pulled off the fourths.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the fourths. That was an epic move that'll go down in history.
Yeah.
So it looks like the wild card most likely will come out of the West. And then also then the second wild card will probably be either the East or the South, and there'll be a battle there.
Yeah.
If I have to guess, I'd say the South. So I'm guessing the South and the West are probably where the wild card comes from. So stay tuned, and we'll see.
Yep. Just remember, we got double headers too, so that makes it even more interesting.
Yep. All right.
All right. So NFC North, we have Tom, the Minnesota Elk Herd at 10-2. Then we have the Green Bay Sixth Pat at with Joe at 7-5, but Joe lost this week, so he's going to 7-6. I am the Bears at 7-5, and I am playing Tom this week, and that's what I was saying. I was glad to hear that I have Tyreek, so I'm up 7 points, and have Tyreek going, and he has Cooper Kupp, so it's going to come down to the wire on that one. So hopefully I win, because then I move into second place. If I lose, then I'm going to still be tied with Joe for another week, and Brandon's pretty much going to take that division. I think he's probably has it now. If I had to say, especially if he wins, he has it. If he loses, he will still probably have it, because I don't think he'll lose out. So it'd just be Joe and I trying to play for maybe a wild card spot. In the NFC South, we have Chad and the Carolina Castaways. He made a drastic difference, because I think he came in last place in the division last year. And he moved to first place at 8-4. Update on the scores. Let's see where he's at. Chad is playing the Todd's New Orleans Saints, and it looks like Chad is going to lose, because it's 45-42, and Todd still has Tua and Puka Nacua. So Chad's going to lose that week. Next is Earl in Philadelphia Hext, and New York Giants, or the pick hoarders, is Tony. So they played each other, and Tony ran away with it. Tony scored 149 points, and Earl has 62 points with HN.
Yikes.
So Tony is taking it seriously with his players and his picks that he's gotten as well. So Tony is going to move up and actually be tied for first. And that no, where did I miss it? I totally missed the Colonials. Colonials and John Lake. He is winning, so he's going to take first in the division, and then it will be Tony second. I'm not sure how I switched divisions there, but I did. Going back up to the south where I should have been, Tampa Bay, who is Adam Yeager. He's got Kyron going tonight. He is 22 points down against Atlanta and Jeremy. So just depends on what Kyron does. But so it could be close. So Chad's losing this week. He's going to be 8-5. Adam has a chance to get a little closer and make it more manageable, because they will probably play each other next week, or to see who's going to take the division, or at least be tied for the division. And then Jeremy will probably, if he loses, he will probably be out of it, unless he wins out. So now going back to the NFC East, where I was at, we have John Lake and the Washington Colonials at the top. He's going to win. Roy lost, and Tony's going to move up to second place. And then it's going to be Tony's going to play Washington Colonials next week. So that could be a battle or a tie for first place.
Okay.
Moving forward. And then we got the NFC West. We have the 49ers and Dave Reed at 9-3. Let's look at the live scores. Their game is over. He played the Seattle Supersonics, which is Roy. So they played this week, and Dave won 128-103. So Dave takes that extra game lead in the NFC West. But Roy being at 8-4 or 8-5 even, he still has a good shot at taking one of the wild card spots. So that's that division. I think Brandon, Arizona Basket Weavers actually is going to win this week, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to win the division or not. He might be able to sneak a wild card if he wins out, but he's going to have to play one of the giants, Roy and Dave. So
getting exciting.
we'll see. Yeah, so I think that wild card's probably going to come from the NFC North and probably the NFC West.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
All right. Shall we head to GA?
Right. Let's do it.
All right, GA. So we start with the trades, if there are any. We got one.
Yay.
We got Aaron Rodgers for a third. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked good a couple weeks, but so that was Nick gave up Aaron Rodgers to Casey.
Mm-hmm.
And Casey's competing, and I think he needs a quarterback. He's got Kyler Murray, who's going to be on bye next week. So he had to have a quarterback to start next week. So
yeah, I gotta check out my buys and get that together.
Yeah. So he's thinking ahead. So he got him a quarterback for a bye week, and he's in first place. So he's making sure he stays there.
Okay. So I will take the AFC North.
Yep.
All right. So we've got Ash and the Browns are firmly in first place with an 11-1 record. They have clinched that division for sure. And I think that might be all that comes out of that division. And then we have the AFC South, which has CJ and the Texans in first place right now at 8-4. And then the Colts are Tim Robertson, and then the Titans are Brian Cude. And so they're all competing right now just to see who ends up in which.
Yeah.
So it ain't done yet.
No. So I'll give you an update on their scores. So we got CJ and the Texans playing Brian and the Titans.
Okay.
CJ is up 97-75 and still has Cooper Kupp going. Brian has Geno Smith going. So most likely going to be CJ that wins.
Geno.
CJ. No, Geno Smith. Geno. Am I pronouncing that right? The tight end from Miami. Janu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pardon my French.
You're fine. So Texans definitely will probably take that.
Yeah. I think so. And then the other game is very close. It is Tim. Well, it's close, but I think we have a clear winner. So Jacksonville and Michael Ramos, they have 107.9 points.
Okay.
And Tim has 107.6 points, but Ramos has DeMarcus Robinson going tonight.
So it's just he's got to get 1 point and he's good.
Yeah, he pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so he's hoping for DeMarcus to do anything.
Yeah.
All right.
And not fumble. Yeah, not make his only catch and fumble. That would be bad.
Right. So that would put a three-way tie, I think, for second place.
Yes.
What a fun division. So it's still on for everybody.
Yep.
All right. And then the AFC East, I'm currently in first place and most likely will win this weekend. I'm currently playing Joe and the Jets. And then Ryan is Miami is playing the Patriots, which is Pickle.
Mitch, yeah.
Yeah, so it's looking like I'm probably going to win this week. And then who knows? It's a crapshoot after there. I gotta check it out. But it ain't over till it's over. So as it gets closer, we got a couple more weeks yet to still win out. And then in the West, we've got Zach and I think that's Ash. Yeah, no, Tony. Zach and Tony are battling out for first place in their division, and most likely the loser will most likely be a wild card. So how's their game going right now?
So Zach won this week. He played Jim. He won 138-80.
Okay.
And then we have Rizzo playing Tony. So Tony, man, he's on fire this week. He's at 150 points.
Okay.
So and Rizzo has 80 points. So he pretty much won, but he still has Achan going tonight. So he's got 150 points plus whatever Achan scores tonight.
All right. So Tony's killing it.
Tony is on fire.
But it will still be a tie for the AFC West.
Right.
So,
but it could be a good shot of, him definitely winning his doubleheader, at least for this week.
For this week, right.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, so let's go to the NFC North. NFC North, we have Casey and the Lions. They are playing the Packers this week, but Casey's pretty much has it locked up. He's going to win this week as well, so he's pretty much locked up first place and a division win. He's got it locked up there. AFC South is a little more murky, but we have Jason W. So we have Jason W. at the Atlanta Falcons at 9-3. He played Nick Grade or Grade. Is it Grade or Grade?
I don't know.
No.
I would say Grade.
We'll have to find out. Yeah. So he played him this week. Jason W. was on fire this week too. 170 points. That's a lot of points to score.
That's a lot of points.
So he pretty much won. He's at 10-3. The next one down was Kyle in Carolina. He was playing Roy this week, and Roy beat him 82-44. So Kyle went from scoring almost the most points last week to scoring probably the lowest points this week. So I'm not sure what happened, Kyle, unless it was just a bye week for you. But yeah, it looks like he had a lot of players on bye. But he took a loss. So I think that's pretty much solidifies JW for winning that division, the South Division. And I don't know if the wild card will come out of the division or not. We'll have to see. But I think JW pretty much has it. The NFC East is very, very murky.
Sure looks like
So we have 3 out of the 4 teams at 8-4 going into this week. We have the Cowboys, and I think that is Tom. He is in first technically, but he actually is playing, and this is going to be a pretty nice game. So he is playing Dan, who took over the Washington team. They are playing each other. So this is a close one. So Dan has 81.0 points. Tom has 81.4 points.
Oh, there we go.
Dan has Puka and Jalen Waddle going tonight. And Tom has Kyron Williams and Tyreek Hill going tonight.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Puka Waddle match against Kyron and Hill. So that's going to be real interesting. So
I hope the game is interesting tonight.
I do too. Yeah, It should be. Where are they playing? In Miami or here?
Here.
So far. Next one, we have the Giants, who I think is Cole. Yeah, Cole and the Giants are the other 8-4 team. And he's playing Jason Kay this week, who's also tied with him as far as record. I think based on their current matchup now, looks like Cole's going to take that because Cole is up by 4 points. He still has Cooper Kupp going. And Jason Kay has DeMarcus Robinson. So it could be that DeMarcus Robinson catches, 3 balls for 2 touchdowns, 3 catches for.
Could be.
Yeah. And Cooper doesn't have any touchdowns and maybe, 6 receptions or something. So it is possible that Jason Kay can still win, but it's kind of unlikely. He's going to have to have a good game from DeMarcus Robinson in order to overcome the 4 points with Cooper. So it still may be a little bit muddier because it looks like the Cowboys could lose, and whoever between the Giants and Eagles, whoever wins there is probably going to take first place. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. It's still up in the air. And then last we have NFC West. We have Braxton at 9-3, who's sitting pretty comfortable at the top because we have Mache at 7-5, and we have Earl in Seattle at 7-5. If we look at the scores, I already know Mache won because he kicked my butt. So he won. So he's moving up to 8-5. Let's see what Braxton is doing. Braxton actually could lose. He's playing against Earl. Earl is only down by 3 points, and he's got Achane going. So it looks like Braxton's probably going to lose and go to 9-4. Looks like Earl's going to win and go to 8-5, and it looks like Mache is at 8-5 too. So it's still closer because next week it's going to be Mache playing. We'll find out. I guess it's either going to be Mache playing Earl, or he's going to play Braxton, and then one of those teams is going to get an easy bye win playing me. So it's going to be interesting. So that is G8.
All right. So let's head to our Superflex leagues then.
Yep.
First one we got up is JB.
Yep.
And we got some trades.
Yeah, we definitely had trades there.
Yep. Yes, we do. All right. First one we got is an NFC trade where we have a Rico Dowdle for a third. Let's see here. Can you pull up the names for those?
Yeah. So Atlanta is Brian Q.
Okay.
And then Tampa Bay is Nick.
All right.
That's actually a good price for Rico. Is there something that happened with Rico? Because I figured he'd be worth a lot more.
You would. Well, I think it's because he's on the Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe. But they're going to have to run.
Right. And then speaking of the Cowboys, the next one is between Jason W. and myself. He gave me Dak, Zay Flowers, and Ben Sinnott for Jalen Hurts. Because Dak is out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I think about that trade. I think I like it.
Yeah, I think it's good value for Hurts because I think Dak can probably score almost as many points as Hurts on any given Sunday, just depending on how many pushes Hurts has. So, and then you got plus with Zay Flowers. So
yeah,
I know Jay needed it to compete. So
yeah.
You have to pay. Usually, you have to pay a little bit more if you need somebody to compete.
Right. And then we got you and Zach Zach gave up Chris Olave, and you gave up Jordan Addison and Jalen McMillan.
Yeah, which I hated to give up McMillan too, but Zach is just you got to almost give in a little bit if you want to get something done. So he doesn't want thirds. I think I offered him Addison in the third for Olave. But now he said he doesn't do thirds. He wanted your second, which I have. And I said, I'm not giving you the 201 in Addison for Olave.
Right.
So I conceded and gave up McMillan because I have receivers to spare. So I didn't want to have more confusion with receivers. So I went ahead and did it. And hopefully, like you, who got Olave, you got Olave too, right?
I have.
Hopefully hopefully he comes back strong.
I'm sure hoping.
Yeah.
I sure hope. Okay, and then we have our league standings.
Yeah. You can take AFC and I'll take NFC.
Sounds good.
The names.
All right, so we have Jason K leading the AFC North against Tony, and Tony's in second place. So Jason K is 10-2, and Tony is 8-4.
Score update. They play each other this week, and it looks like unless Jalen Waddle lays a goose egg, it looks like Tony will beat Jason K this week because he's only down.
That'll make it interesting.
Yeah, Tony's down a point, and he's got Jalen Waddle.
All right, so that will put Tony only one game back. So it's anybody's outcome yet, which is kind of exciting. And Tony appears to be on a roll. He's already won 5 as of before today. So he'll have his 6th in a row win. So he's really coming back.
It's about time. And I don't think he's got picks next year. So he had to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, he has 1 pick, I think, because I gave him 1 for bonus. Okay, and then in the AFC South, we got John and the Colts leading the division at 9-3. And second place is Joe, and he's 5-7. So most likely, I don't think it's possible for Joe to take over. So I think John wins his division, and he will move forward. I don't think the wild card will come from the South.
Yeah.
And then in the AFC West, we have Roy in first place at 8-4, and Jason at 6-6, and I think Jason won this weekend.
Yeah, they played each other, and Jason with a score of 217 points.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, so Jason's now only 1 out of first. So most likely, whoever is in second is going to take the wild card game, and so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. This is Roy's first win in 8 weeks. Loss in 8 weeks, so he's kicking it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing Zach, and it looks like Zach is going to just eke by me, which is funny.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? But I doubt it. But I'm going to win.
Most because you are ahead by 1 point.
Yeah.
And you have Mostert going.
Yes.
And he's got Kyron Williams.
Right.
So it could be a Mostert game, and you never know.
That would be.
He could go off for 2 touchdowns.
That would be funny. All right. So looking forward to the playoffs on this one.
So wild card, it's we talked about it earlier. So it's 2 teams battling for the one wild card spot.
There's 2 wild card
division
spots.
winners.
So there's 5 total, 3 division winners and 2 wild card.
Right, but those 2 wild cards play each other for that wild card spot.
Week 13,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a given. They still have to win 1 more game.
Yep.
Those wild cards. Yeah. All right. So NFC North, we have Casey Jones at 8-4. He's actually playing the team in second place, Minnesota, in Cole. And Cole said, "Hold my beer," because Cole beat He beat KC 197 to 140 to make it a lot closer. So I know Cole's still trying to compete. And if not, Cole, you need to make some trades so you can compete, because you had lost 4 in a row, but you're going to win one. So you still have a chance. And then we have the NFC South, which is very muddled because we have 3 teams at 8-4. We have Nick at 8-4. We have in Tampa Bay, we have Tim and the Saints at 8-4. And then we have Jim Leahy and the Carolina Panthers at 8-4. So Jim and the Panthers played Nick this week. Nick actually won, so he's gonna move 1 game ahead. The Saints is going to be a close game. So the Saints I hate how they have these broken up, but from what I see, I think the Saints have 93 points, so they're down 16 points. They're down 16 points, but they have Matthew Stafford and Tutu Atwell, which who knows if he gets any stats. And then we have Brian Cude and the Atlanta Falcons. He's up by 16 points, and he has Mostert and Demarcus Robinson going. So I'm thinking the Saints probably will lose unless Matt Stafford has just a great game and Mostert and Robinson don't do anything. So it could be Nick sitting in first place by himself, but he's going to have to win out, I think, in order to stay on top, because it's tough. NFC West, we have the Los Angeles CTU and Rizzo at 8-4. He actually will probably win this week. He's actually playing the team that's in second place, Chris, and the Arizona Cardinals. Chris has 158 points right now. Rizzo has 139, so he's down 19 points. But he has Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle going. So it's probably, I would probably say that it's probably going to be a win for Rizzo. So he'll have a comfortable lead to win that division in NFC West. The wild card is probably going to come from that AFC South. Probably come from the AFC South, or it could be one AFC South and one AFC North.
Rizzo's doing pretty good in all the leagues.
He is. He's doing real good, and he's making moves, which is kind of neat to see. So that is JB.
All righty. So let us move on to SF2. Okay. We got a couple trades here. So in FS2, we've got
Brian Cude is Broncos.
Okay.
He gave up Joe Flacco to me. I'm the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
For a 26th third.
All righty.
So there's a little strategery behind that trade for me, because I really don't need Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew Ash needed a quarterback. So because he was needing a quarterback. So I kind of pulled a fast one on Ash, and Brian put up his trade bait screen, and I saw Flacco up there for a 25 or 26 third, and I jumped at it and took Flacco. It didn't work out because Ash didn't trade me. So he went with one QB this week, and we'll see how it ends. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it with one QB, but we'll see. I have Flacco and I have Wilson available for him if he decides.
Okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what Ash does. And then next we have the Lions, who is Pickle, right?
Nick
is the Lions?
Yeah. Pickle's Chicago. So Nick is the
That's right.
Lions, and
So-
the Falcons are Van.
Superman.
Mhm.
Nice. Van made a trade. So the Lions gave up 25-second for Cedric Tillman. It's a good. I mean, Cedric Tillman has looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be good for a second-round pick. And then next we had Baltimore and Jason Kay. He gave up Tillman. So both sides are trading Tillman.
Mm-hmm.
He gave up Cedric Tillman for Deontay Johnson, which that's me again.
Okay.
So
I'm crossing my fingers on that one.
yeah, I really don't like the way where Deontay Johnson went.
No.
And this was, I don't know if this was actually before the trade happened. No, maybe not. It might have been. No,
Yeah,
I don't think I would have traded him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take Cedric Tillman, and I think I will like that one because Deontay Johnson didn't do much this week at all. I think he had one catch, maybe. It was that Wallace kid that had the bigger game.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not going to change because, I mean, Deontay Johnson has talent. I'm sure he's going to do something. And then we had
Braxton
Braxton.
gave up Kincaid for Rizzo's Kittle.
What do you think about that one?
I think it was whoever needed something for the weekend or for the week.
Yeah.
Which side would you take?
I would take the Kincaid side, I think, long term.
I think.
But if I had to win now, it'd probably be Kittle.
I think it would totally depend on salary for me.
Yeah, that too.
All righty. So let's hit the results.
Are you in the North? Are you in NFC on this one?
I'm in the NFC, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm at AFC, so
I hit it.
I'll take the AFC. So AFC North, we have Jason Kay, Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, he won his DA.
No, Roy. No, so Roy is Cincinnati in this league.
Right.
Jason is Baltimore. So they're both 8-4. They actually played this week, and Jason beat Roy this week.
Yep.
So Jason takes a one game lead, and then I am playing the Steelers, and I beat the Steelers this week. So unless Tyreek has 50 points, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, it's all a crapshoot as to who's going to end up in the playoffs because you guys are all mismatched now.
Yeah, so it's going to be close in that division. A wild card will probably come from the AFC North, I would think. And then we got AFC South. We have Earl and the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
He's at 6-6. Next is CJ at 5-7. They're actually playing each other this week, and I think Earl is going to take a loss because CJ is up 116 points to 80. So he's up, 36 points? And CJ still has Mostert going, and all Earl has is Matthew Stafford. So I don't think it could be possible Matthew Stafford scores 40-something points, but
not probable.
Gonna be close. Yeah, right, true. So Earl might take a loss, and then it will be CJ and him tied for first place. And then the Tennessee Titans, ooh, man, that's Joe, Tennessee. He's playing Tony this week. Tony is, I think, pick-hoarding in this league again, but he's got 129 points this week. Joe has 87, but he's got Tua, Kyron, and Waddle. So he's with those three, he's probably will win. I would think because he's 30 points, 43 points down, but he's got Tua, Kyron, and Waddle. Those three can score at least 42, right? You would think.
You would think
they can. Yeah,
I mean, it's
so
possible, sure.
yeah, at least by their projections, it shows that they're going to score that much.
I'm looking forward to seeing if Waddle steps up or not, or when that's going to
Yeah.
happen, because it's just been an awful year for Waddle.
Yes, and I'm glad not to have any shares of him anymore. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right, I get you.
Yeah. And then so AFC West, we have Ash at 8-4. And second place we have KC and Kansas City Chiefs at 7-5. So KC actually won this week, so he's going to move up to 8-5. Ash is playing Jason Williams, and he's probably going to win because JW has Cooper Cup going tonight, and Ash has Achan and Puka Nakua, and he's up 20 points already with Achan and Puka going.
Okay.
So I think Ash is probably going to win. JW is probably going to lose, but it's still Casey still has a shot to maybe make a wild card spot and maybe push for the division if Ash doesn't trade for a quarterback like Flacco or some quarterback like that. Ash. So it's going to be close. So yeah, I think the wild card is going to come from the AFC North and possibly one from the AFC West to battle each other for that last spot. So how's the NFC looking?
All right. So the NFC, we've got Nick is in first place with the NFC North at 11-1, and he's playing pickle this weekend, and so it's too close to call with the points and the players that are left. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But most likely, Nick is going to end up taking the division for sure. He just needs to win one more, I think. And then in the NFC South, we have Luke and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers killing it with 10-2. And second place is Zach. And so that's a clinch right there. So Luke has definitely clinched that division.
And I think he won this week too.
Mm-hmm. And then in the NFC West, it is myself is the Rams playing Rizzo and Seattle, and I beat them. We're about to finish that off, most likely. And so then we will have a tie score. And I actually have more points so I will be in first place for the division. And
nice.
So I'm coming back from the depths of nothing. We'll see.
Yeah, because you started off pretty rough, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I've got a good team, and they just have been stinking. So fortunately, they started rolling again, which is nice. So most likely the wild cards either coming from the north or the west or both from the north. So we'll have to wait and see how this settles out. But looking forward to seeing where we go with this.
To be continued.
To be continued.
Yeah.
So on to SF3.
Last but not least.
Last but not least. Oops, not trades, transactions.
And we just so happen to be in different conferences as well on this one.
Yeah, we're in a lot of. The only one that we're in together is JB.
JB, yep.
All right. So we've got 2 trades.
So we have Kyle and Packers giving up Ray Davis for who's Seattle? Who is Seattle? Do you know who Seattle is?
Seattle?
Okay, let me Earl.
Yeah.
Okay. Earl. So Earl gave up 2 seconds. 2 seconds for Ray Davis. I'm not sure I understand that, Earl, what's going on there? Do you know something we don't know?
Mm-mm.
What do you think about that? I think 1 second would be probably
Well,
his value.
my guess is that Kyle probably wasn't going to give him up for 1 second.
Oh, I guarantee you he wouldn't give it up for 1 second, but he kind of raped him. 2 seconds. I mean, I don't know. That just seems a lot for me.
It is a lot.
Would you do it? Would you trade 2 seconds for Ray Davis?
I might.
Knowing that Cook is still going to be there, a young Cook.
I would have to look into it. I would have to
Yeah.
see what the rest of mine was and stuff, but it's not out of the question. But I would have to add up for me to do that.
Yeah, I think a second, maybe, and a second and the third probably would be the most I would pay if needed. But yeah, I think Kyle did good on that one. Sorry, Earl, but I know Earl. He likes his guys. If there's his guy out there, he will overpay for him and get his guy. And a lot of times it works out good because he was grabbing a bunch of Jamison Williams early, I think last year, and he look what he's doing now. Jamison Williams, he's actually looks pretty good. And then we have the Texans and Braxton gave up Blake Corum a 25 first and a 25 third for Jameis Winston, and Kenneth Walker. That's not a bad deal. I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So the Colt who's the Colt? That's Roy.
Yep.
Yeah, Roy's not competing this year, so he's taking that pick and going to use it in Blake Corum. So, what do you think of Blake Corum?
I think he's great. He's one injury away.
Yeah, I'm taking over.
Yeah.
You think he will be? Because I watched him play. I think the last game, he didn't look very impressive, at least from what I saw.
He won't be equal to Kyron, but he will be the main back.
Yeah, and it could be just because he's still rusty. He could.
Sure. I think it also depends on if the wide receivers are killing it, then it makes it easier for the running back to run. So I think
absolutely.
It all depends on who's in. If everybody's out again, I mean, he'll never do well. But
yep.
All right. So let's go to the league standings.
Did you watch the Texans game last night?
I did.
Man,
that was
how disappointing was that?
It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch, but it was, and it seems like the Texans always wait. I mean, they can't blow anybody out. It's just they play conservative, let the other team catch up, and then we win by a field goal. I'm like, man, me and my son were watching this game last night. He went to bed at the fourth quarter because he's like, no, they're going to win. But I don't understand the conservativeness of them. They should just throw the ball and blow people away, but it's not happening.
Well, they're going to have to figure something out.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So
go ahead and
hit the AFC North.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So AFC North, we have Pittsburgh, and that is John. John sitting in first in SF3 and JB. How about that? So John's at 9-3 this week. Next behind him is Cincinnati, and that is Zach. The Zach without the H. So Talmadge. Mm-hmm. He's at 8-4. He actually won this week. Zach won this week, and it looks like John won this week. So they'll both be moving up and be first and second in that division. They're going to play each other next week, so that's going to be something to look out for.
That's fun
to see if they tie or who's going to take that division by itself. The AFC South, we have Braxton, who's killing it, 12-0, and he might go 13-0. We'll see. So he's in first. Next, we have Kyle's brother, right? Yeah. Kyle's brother, Ryan. He's at 8-4. He had a big game this week. He scored 201 points. So he won this week. Braxton, it probably doesn't matter if he wins or loses. He's going to probably take that division, I'm sure. So he's sitting pretty. AFC West, we have another Kyle relative or brother-in-law. Yeah, I keep on forgetting who's who with Kyle's. So he is actually in first place at 7-5, but he played me this week, and he's going to take a loss because I had a good game from Jamar Chase this week that helped me secure that win. So he's going to lose this week. He's going to go to 7-6. Behind him, we have Zach, and Zach's at 6-6. He was probably going to win because he's got Tua and Kyron Williams going tonight, and he's 1 point ahead of Joe. So I think he's going to secure the win. So it's going to be a two-way tie for first place in the AFC West. Joe is the Las Vegas Raiders at 5-7. He takes the loss, so he's most likely out of the running. Anything's possible, but he would have to win out and expect and hope Zach and Eric lose. So I think the wild card is kind of up in the air. I mean, if it's how it stands now, it's probably going to come from the north and probably the south. But it could, the West could sneak in one if they keep on winning. We'll see. But that is the AFC North.
Okay, so for the NFC, in the North, we have Rizzo with Minnesota leading at 8-4. And Mitch is Detroit, and he's 7-5. Mitch is winning this week, as so is Rizzo. So they're probably going to keep the same standings going into next week.
Did you say Rizzo again at top?
I did.
Man.
I'm telling you, he's having a great year.
He is.
I know.
Good job, Rizzo.
I got to get him to do the Meet Your League Mates.
Yes, definitely, because he's
All
been
right,
around.
Rizzo,
He's been in the league for a while.
I'm coming for you.
Yes.
All right, and then we have poor Dan Cummings, who only had 100 and something points after Thursday night.
Right.
Killing it, playing me. And I'm only 100 points behind tonight, but I have Kyron and Puka. So if they pull it off the same
Who
way,
knows?
I got it.
Right. Anything can happen.
You never know. Yeah, no, we do. Okay, and then we have Dan and Brian Cood are both in first place, and both of them look like they're winning their week. So most likely it's going to stay the same. Points for are separated enough that Dan most likely will remain in first place for the division. And then in the NFC West, we have Tim Robertson, who's also doing pretty damn good in the leagues across leagues. He is at first with 9-3. And Jason Williams is San Francisco, and he won, so he is 6-7 now, but most likely doesn't have a shot to take the division. So Tim will take the division, Dan will take the division, Rizzo most likely, and then the second place will most likely be Brian and possibly Pickle. So we'll see, unless I do something crazy.
What?
Yeah, you never know.
You got some plans?
You never know. I've got such a damn good team. I mean, seriously, it is a freaking amazing team that just really underperformed. So
yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. We'll see.
It's kind of like my team. My team, I'm set for next year. I don't want to make any moves.
Right.
I mean, why should I make moves? Because my team is next year will be pretty stout. At least my receivers will.
Yeah, and I think in the power rankings, I'm in 4th place. So, yeah, unless somebody really needs a piece and wants to overpay, I've got all the good ones. Come and see me. I don't know. So, looking forward to seeing what happens out of this.
Yes. And guess what, Renee?
What?
You get to watch the whole game.
So very excited. I know. I'm very excited. My friends are there. They're tailgating. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, and looking forward to having, I hope the Dolphins show up and really make a great game. I think it'd be fun.
They better. I mean, what a wild turnaround. I mean, with them. I mean, they were doing so good. The coach was getting a bunch of praise.
They were kicking ass, and then
yes, yeah, imploded. So,
all right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a good game too, and this worked out good.
It did. Thank you for being willing to do it early today.
Absolutely, and Pickle, hope your wife feels better, starts feeling better, and Jason, drink one for both of us while you're sitting on the beach in Mexico.
Por favor.
Please. And we'll see y'all next week, hopefully with the full crew.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.